Bro, I saw it in other place. I think I saw it. That's in the town. Very good.
Yo, Naxa, the mobilization we should be WhatsApping links.
Send the media, I'll take you to see. That's
No, social. That's all we need on social. That's it.
thank you guys for joining us. We are live, and we will, maybe if people ask questions, we'll answer some. But first and foremost, if you're watching this live stream, we are also planning on going live on another platform very, very soon, which is Kick. So the information will be in the description below. If you don't have a Kick account, I suggest you go get one. It's where we'll be having most of our live streams and going live, I guess, in a more unfiltered setting, just in case YouTube decides to nuke this channel for very aggressive views.
Yeah.
But apart from that, next week we have a Riot conference. If you don't know, the main people on this podcast and the guy who is basically the producer of this podcast, we all serve at a church. That church is having a youth conference, and we all want you guys to be there. You're welcome to come join us. It will be a blessing to have you and to worship with you and to be with you. So if you're there, go ahead, come and join us, and it'll be a blessing to you in whatever fashion you have time for. It's 3 days, from the 14th to the 16th. So that's Thursday next week, Friday next week, Saturday next week. And come join us. If you're on the fence about ministry in churches, come and see for yourself. I'm not going to say come and try this out. I'll just say come and experience this for yourself. I am 100% positive God will talk to you. He'll move in your life, and he'll bless your life, and it'll be a blessing to you. So we are inviting you. You are more than welcome, and we will be excited to see you. But apart from that, I am here with
Naxa.
And over there is
In the left corner.
in the left corner, weighing 230 pounds.
Hey, I'm Justin.
So yeah, but I guess we'll be doing these lives more often.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll be daily. I don't know if the lives will be daily.
I don't know
We
either.
can try do daily lives, but
Kick is a possibility.
Kick, we're going to be going live on Kick. So if you want to see us live all the time, like in a very unfiltered setting, just really chill and calm, head over to Kick, subscribe. But again, if you're just passing by on this channel, hit the subscribe button and then hit the notifications button so you can get notified when we go live. So make sure there's a bell, right?
Yeah.
It's a
There's
bell.
a bell.
So there's a bell at the corner where you see my name and my head, well, part of my head, and on the right-hand side, there's this small bell. So all notifications. So hit that. That way you'll see all the content. But apart from that, it's amazing to have you guys.
Yeah.
And praise God too. Just saw your comment. But anyway, apart from that, right now, that premiered while this live was going on was I don't care. So
It's an interesting title.
it's an interesting title.
Yeah.
It's an interesting title. But pretty much we were talking about getting to heaven in that entire video. One of the most important things I've come to realize over the last couple of months, and if you're wondering what's going on, we were just having a meeting about conference next week, and I shared with them that one of the things I came to realize was the value in making sure you're going to heaven. The end goal of everything we do here is that you get to heaven. There's nothing else more important than you getting to heaven, than you making it through those gates, than you having eternal life. Eternal life is the goal here. Nothing else compares to that, because to gain everything else, to win everything else, and then lose at the end, there is something that you don't want. And that was a huge thing. So we dove into that during that episode. I remember asking Naxa, hey, do you think you're going to heaven? He looks at me like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was before we got deeper into the conversation though.
But the response,
as we're going,
you
I
were
was
shaking, my guy.
as we kept on going, I was like, actually, I'd never thought of it in that way. Okay.
Yeah.
There's that, because it's something that usually just, it's become so cliche. I think we hear it so much. Hey, heaven is the goal, heaven, and then you become numb to it.
Yeah.
Right? And so people tend to, we tend to ignore that fact that, hey, am I really going to heaven, or am I focused on the wrong things? Like, where is your focus, right? It's like a check. It checks you, where is your focus at the moment? So most people are focused on getting all other things except getting to know Christ, who they claim that they want to serve.
Yeah.
Right? You said something about people that are on the fence for doing ministry. Yeah, some people don't really get to, process and think, hey, this which I want to do, who do I know who I'm doing it for? Do you know the person you're trying to serve, Because you might go out with all the zeal, but without knowledge of who he is, And eternal life is something that's important to think about, In the confines of the Bible calls it, refers to eternal life as knowing Jesus, who God sent, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know him, then you don't have eternal life. You could serve, you can do all these things in church. You could go give up your alms, give up your money, do all these things, spend your time serving or doing all this. But if you don't take time to get to know the person that you claim to serve, then it's all for nothing. So
I would give it this description.
Mm.
You can be the best employee for an organization and not know the CEO.
Yeah, very
You
likely.
could plant trees for the best tree company in the world, and the CEO will not know you.
Yeah.
And why I use that analogy is people believe that my works contribute to my relationship with Christ, when in reality, your relationship contributes to your relationship to Christ.
Yeah.
Like how much more you attempt to relate with him attributes to your relationship, not what you do for him.
Yeah.
So a lot of people like to do for God rather than simply just get to know him, see him, have a foundation of some kind. Even just look for him. And I think where there's a difficulty that happens to this is this one area. The area is point blank this. The effort it goes into to building a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty, I believe, where all of this comes from. That there is such a hard I wouldn't even say it's hard. It seems very difficult to begin to have a relationship with God and put in the effort. That man, like, because if you think about it, like, you put in a lot of effort in a lot of other things that are just useless.
Yeah, true.
That are just useless. And then a couple of days ago, I watched a sermon from Benny Hinn where he was at his house. He was watching Netflix. This was years ago.
Yeah.
He was watching Netflix.
Wow,
And the Holy Spirit told him, cancel Netflix.
Wow.
So he canceled Netflix. Then the following day, the Holy Spirit told him, cancel cable. Then he canceled cable. It got to a point where he had nothing in his house but old Christian documentaries and old Christian books and the Bible. And that's all he would read over and over and over and over and over and over again. Now, when you ask a Christian, like, why am I going to do that? And I would say this, take baby steps. Like, just give God, I'm going to put it this way. Take small steps. Give God 4 minutes. Give God 4 minutes, 5 minutes today. Then when you're done, give God 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Next month. Like, work on building it. And I would say this, like, it's you putting in effort.
Yeah.
It's you putting in effort, opening your word, opening the Bibles. And one of the things I learned about getting to know Jesus was reading Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Those ones are first-hand accounts of Christ. They're detailed. If reading is difficult for you, then I suggest this. Go ahead, and YouVersion.
Yeah.
And
Or-
then
It's what I
click
use.
play
Yeah.
and just listen. Like if reading is hard, like where technology is so helpful now, you could jump the queue in getting ahead in your relationship with God. Like you could be just sitting there and be like, all right, I'm just turning this on. Like pause Spotify, turn this on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
YouVersion.
and yeah, that's my
Because remember, I told you about it.
Yeah.
You were suggesting MySword, but it's not on iOS.
Yeah.
So I tell them, I think I've told you before.
yeah.
I struggled with being dyslexic in school. So reading, even till now, sometimes I jump up the letters. Like I'll look at a word and be like, God has helped me through that. It's gotten better. I've prayed over it. I've fought over it. Because school-wise, I struggled. But now, when I found YouVersion,
Yeah.
especially during COVID, it elevated me further. Because I was able to now even read KJV. You can imagine that.
Shakespeare in English.
That was the hardest Bible I could ever try. I would struggle to read KJV.
Yeah.
But with YouVersion, push play, and now I'm just following along with the words. It became way easier for me. The pace was there. Everything was moving steadily.
Plus, it makes meditation easier because you're already listening, and so you're picturing already. So it's easier to meditate, other than when you're reading. Some people find it difficult to like relate what they're reading and what they're picturing. Like it takes them time. Like I have to make sense of the statement, especially if it's like a KJV. So it gets really, really hard. So yeah, I think you do whatever it takes.
Another thing I commend them for are the Bible plans.
Yeah.
Like, their Bible plans are amazing. Like you can literally just search up whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're dealing with. They're gonna give you an amazing plan. It can even be just 5 days, and trust me, it takes you farther than you can imagine.
Yeah. So, but it all needs you to put in the effort. Like there's so many ways it's been made easier, but it's not going to work itself. The system won't work itself. You have to work out your salvation. So if salvation was a system, you need to work it out.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, start with 3 minutes, start with 5, then build it up as you go. And I don't know what you have to say to this. We mentioned something to do with conference that's coming up. And on the last day, we're going to be baptizing people.
Yeah.
So there's people who think because I've done all these things, I've taken communion, I've been baptized, then my relationship with God is certified. Like that's it. I've done the deed. So that's it for me. I don't need to put in any more effort.
Yeah, I would. Let me say this. I always tell this because right now we live in a Christian shame culture. So people, for example, when you tell somebody, I haven't read the Bible, or I haven't read the Bible all the way through, there are people, other believers, who will shame you.
How dare you?
Oh my God, you haven't read the Bible.
Not even
through.
a Christian.
You're going to get baptized now. You're an usher here. You're getting baptized now. Chill. And I always tell people this. It's your salvation. You're responsible for it. Leave those people alone. And one thing I've learned is that, again, for them, like if you're a person who's constantly like judging, trying to stop people, trying to control how somebody does something, and trying to manipulate them or make them feel bad, remember, everything I've gone through this last couple of months has brought me to this exact same point. What if God, you reach that level, you reach that point in your life, and God does this? He goes ahead, you're in heaven, you reach there, and he asks you this question. Why did you tell them that they're getting baptized late? Why did you tell them that they've reached a point where you're shocked that they're opening the word and getting to know me? You see, because again, this is the issue. The gospel people preach is that it's never too late to find Christ. But then you tell people, oh my God, how dare you? You haven't read the Bible? You haven't finished the whole thing? stop for a second. You can't say that because, and I always tell people this. I believe the majority, if you ask somebody, how many of you read the Bible? A lot of people raise their hand up in church.
Yeah.
How many of you ask them this? Okay, cool. I believe people read it to complete it, not to understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I'm being 100% true. Like, when people say, oh, Robert, you speak so well, you have such great knowledge of the word. Yeah, because I read it to understand. I went back and back. I didn't even move.
Yeah. And that's so important.
I was like, start at Genesis. Like, I had to understand Genesis.
Yeah.
I had to understand what happened with Abraham. And when I go back. I don't read it to be like, man, you know me, I read all the books, I read everything. And I'm like, no, like, that's not, the point is not to complete it. There's a great way for this to be said. Jordan Peterson has a great way of delivering what I'm going to say properly. I can't articulate this as well as him. He's probably one of the greatest speakers in the entire world at the moment, or even is in the entire world completely. He says that you can go through life in a docile manner. I'm paraphrasing. You can go through life in a docile way, where you're safe, you're incubated, you don't take any risks, you've guarded yourself and you've kept yourself, right? Or basically you can begin an adventure. And his example of this, shockingly enough, is Abraham.
Yeah.
You could just go out on an adventure
Wow.
of your entire life. And the thing about that I studied, an adventure is not something that is perfect along the way. An adventure has ups and downs, scary times, even when your life is at risk or you've lost things. But it's an adventure. It's a story.
Yeah.
Right? And there are two things. Do you want to go around do you want to look back at your life, or people to look at your life as, how would I'll put it this way. Do you want to walk around like there's a film crew following you and they're watching what you're doing? Or do you want to live your life like someone's going to see this as a documentary at the end?
Yeah.
Meaning like, yo, that was good.
Yeah.
That's encouraging. Like, I believe I can do that. And I always say this to people. You might be ashamed. Like, hey man, I'm getting baptized now. I don't care. You could be a pastor, like, oh, I'm gonna get baptized. Come get baptized.
Yeah.
Anybody who is telling you or is putting shame on you for getting baptized is a clown.
I agree.
Their own salvation is something that should be questioned at that point. Hey, you know, I haven't been like really anointed, and someone hasn't really prayed over for me in the body of Christ for me to go out and do the exploits I believe I'm called to do. Come on down, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I have some idols I really want to let go of.
Yeah.
Come on, bring them. Like, Christians should not put limits on other believers when God didn't put limits on them. And the reason why I say this is that God loves people. How can I describe this properly? Yourself. With all the nonsense and mess you do, God still loves you. And don't sit here like you don't do mess.
Yeah, surely.
Like, there are people who have a professional PhD in sin. Like 70% of you is sin.
They wrote a doctrine.
But God just doesn't leave you. Like, he stays there.
Yeah.
Like, and this was like, after getting married, like, these are one of the things I was talking to some people, and I was seeing a lot of like documentaries and whatever. And this guy was like, "How well, you know, like, my wife cheated on me, I'm going to leave her. My husband cheated on me, I'm going to leave them." And I'm like, of course, like, the Bible gives you permission if somebody's committed adultery, like, you can go. But like, this was the thing that was odd, and it fell on me on this realization. Okay, now God and you, should God go Still go to church, and then you're still unfaithful
Yeah.
Yeah.
to him. Like, so how should that situation work out? And I learned that, yeah, he gives you permission, but still, the way you behave, I would feel ashamed to take the out he gave me when God didn't take an out on me, and I behave worse to him than I do to, and that's how you begin to like look at your relationships.
Yeah.
You begin to look at your life like, whoa, God really, like he really loves me because he's always here and I'm not always here.
Yeah.
He covers me. There's some people who point, and I've seen this in church. There are people who point at people who've done something wrong. They point at them. You a sinner. How could you do such a thing? It's just because God has had enough mercy on you to cover what you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let me say it like this. The people with the biggest bags are always the first ones to point the finger. Because themselves, they're guilty by what they have.
It's a distraction.
Yeah.
Of them.
So they try and basically, by pointing the finger at others, they're convincing themselves that they're doing good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet, you have so many kilos on your baggage that I don't even think any airline would sell you more kilos. You get. So you're going to be the first one to point the finger. Like, nah, this one does this and this one does that and that.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you, I've seen it. I've been working in ministry for the last year now, nearly. And it shocked me.
Yeah.
Like, people are so quick to point the finger at others. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
they have their issues, but it's personal. You don't know how far God is going to use them, because he's going to take the one and leave the 99.
Yeah.
He's going to go with that one person because you don't know what they can achieve for God himself. Like,
Yeah.
I see it, and there are people who might leave church because someone said this and this about them. Because we don't have the perfect people coming in.
Yeah.
When people come in, they come in broken, used, and whatnot.
Yeah.
We should understand that. We don't get freshly born people and then they're with us from day one, day one. Because the ones who have been with us, who claim to be at church for the last, their entire lives, really don't do nothing. Because if I look at the entirety of the teams we work with, they're going to tell you, I came in this phase of 77, or I came in this period of time, meaning there's like more than half their life before church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get. And yet they're the ones who are the most dedicated.
Yeah.
But now the funny thing is, the ones who have the biggest baggage are the ones who were there before them. And they're quick to point the fingers.
Yeah, because it's a distraction of themselves. It's a diversion. It's a way of taking the attention off themselves. So no one looks. But anyway, there's what they say, when you point, there's three fingers that are pointing back at you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people have this false sense of righteousness.
The past loves company.
Wow. Yeah.
The past loves company. If somebody, like, I've never seen people more excited about someone failing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you heard about that? Like that one.
My
Like,
God. A T.
people get so, like, what are you happy about? Exactly. Like, are you happy that he made a mistake? Like, are you happy that he failed? And this is another thing, too, that I want people to know. There's nothing you can do, one, that you'll believe you're the first one to do it.
Yeah.
Everything that you think you're the first person to do or first person to go through, someone has gone through it.
That's right.
Someone has gone through it. Two, you're not searching. Your relationship is not a middleman relationship. You don't need to go through a guy to get to the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to hustle with this dude to allow me to have a conversation. You can talk to God directly.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want people, maybe we should put a Bible reading plan on YouVersion. Maybe we should work something out.
Yeah.
Probably.
I want people to have a relationship with God outside of the church reading you the Bible. Read it for yourself.
Yeah.
People are deceived because they don't read the Bible. No one encourages you. Like, we want you to read the Bible for you.
Yeah.
You build your relationship with God. Don't go through me to get to God. That's not how it works. I don't remember what Bible verse it is, but there's a part in the Bible where it says middlemen should be put to death. Like God had a problem with guys who were hustling him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you a little Jesus if you follow my instructions.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. You have to follow one instruction.
Mm-hmm.
One instruction that comes from him.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a part of people who are terrified. Like, and I mean genuinely terrified of how they'll be treated. And the reason why the world wins so many people and why the church is struggling. Churches are struggling to grow. Churches are struggling to reach people. Churches are struggling to retain people. You get people saved, then you lose them.
Yeah.
And the reason is because the world is so much more accepting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, bro, like, don't worry about that. Like, you know,
It's okay, have a beer.
It's just like, yeah, just chill out. Don't worry. Like, let's do our affirmations in the morning. It's all gonna work out. Okay. Like,
Wow.
this is a safe space.
Yeah.
There's no negativity here. You know what the church is? I don't fault the people who've just gotten into church. I fault the ones who've been there for the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your heart hasn't gotten softer. You're meaning to tell me your life hasn't changed. Your viewpoint hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And I always say this, the reason why I don't fault anybody is that everyone has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And the majority of people don't understand. Most of the people are starting in the pit. Like, in order for people to come to church, next, I've gotten to see this as a true point. It's I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, I saw the devil and that's why I got saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some people are too scared to say that testimony. So they say, I was going through things. I was being
Tough
attacked.
times. Yeah.
Witches were after me. I was bewitched. No, you had an encounter with the devil.
Yeah.
And you're like, and this is the truth. If you have a bad situation, you're encountering, you're about to encounter the devil. And if you encounter the devil, now you know that God is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That is, people come to church like that. Imagine that. We don't like how you dress.
Yeah.
What? Like if people understood how the guy is coming,
Yeah.
you don't know what they saw last night. You don't know what happened to them last night to make them want to come to church.
Yeah. That's right.
Like you don't know. They were it was Easter weekend, I believe, the church I was serving at. And there were about 4 to 5 strippers who came into the church service. Right? And I was on staff at the place, and it was weird.
I bet
You
it
know,
was.
like it's not like they're not the usual crowd.
Yeah.
You know, that comes in, and the church I was serving at, like, the first thing they say is love God and love people. Right? In that order. Love God and love people. So they walk up, they go sit up, they're going to see the production. There's always an Easter and Christmas production. Victory does amazing productions. And they go up and they sit there. And the following Sunday after the production, a lady is giving it, like, I had seen them, so she's talking about it. And basically what had happened was someone gave them a little timetable handout, right? A little flyer
Yeah.
about what was happening in Victory with the Easter production. And they decided to come, they got saved, right? Imagine if someone had been like, hey, I don't know what you guys come here to do, but we're not that place, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question, though, is by the time this person is asking them, that's not what we do, get out, this person has seen them in the outside world, because these were 5 strippers, right?
Yeah.
So
I
does
know,
it,
and I mean, like, from just a general perspective, everyone would have been like, you know, like those 7-inch
It's not like
heels.
they-
Like, they
Yeah.
didn't
It's
come.
not like they
Like,
had stickers.
they came like either they had left work or they were about to go to work.
for real?
Yeah.
That's how they came. They didn't come like
Yeah.
anyway. Like they came dressed
Yeah.
for another occasion.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they thought this was like a simple Easter play put on by the city.
Yeah.
I don't know what they thought, but I've seen people even come to our church.
Yeah.
Like they've left the club Saturday
Yeah.
night to come on a Sunday morning service.
Yeah.
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 And you're seeing, I've been there. My dad has done altar calls after altar calls, but these people are sitting. I remember sitting up and I'm looking back. It was in the left-hand corner. This was earlier this year. Left-hand corner. There's a lady in a blue dress.
Yeah.
And you could tell like you didn't go home. Wherever you came from, you came like you're sitting there,
Yeah.
and she's just crying and just crying and just crying and just crying. And just bawling her eyes out. And I'm sitting up here and I was like and all the services, she stayed there for all the services. We went out, you know, relaxed and everything. Last service comes on. She's there still.
Oh.
And that's when you realize like this person is going through something. And they found, but she was in the same chair. Now, like 2 months later, I see the same person, but totally different.
Yeah.
Like dressed well, coming into church, like to be prayed for, giving her seat. And like I had just seen her, I never said anything. I was like, nobody bothered her. And she was still here.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you're a person right now, if you minister in a church or if you serve in a church somewhere else and you have preferences, let me give you some advice. Shut up and sit down. Don't say a thing. Let God minister to people.
Yeah.
If something is bothering you about how this person came or how they are, shut up, sit down, don't do anything, and God will handle it.
Yeah.
Right? If you're, and you people, you know yourselves. If you're a judgmental person, you know you're a judgmental person. Just help yourself. Let me shut up and sit down. God will handle it.
Yeah.
And He will. Right? There's an amazing set of tapes by C.S. Lewis called the Screw Tape Chronicles. I've talked about this before. And in that, it's just about demons. And it's just about demons talking to one another, about how they each demon, each human is assigned a demon, basically. And basically, the job of the demon is not just to torment you. He wants to keep you from having an encounter with Christ.
Yeah.
So the guy goes to a painting, like a gallery painting place, where like there's so many paintings, and he's standing there looking at a painting. It's like, this is so beautiful, but how could somebody do this? Like, where did he get the idea? There has to be something more than life. What if there's like another being? If there's a being with, and then the guy's like, uh-oh. And then now the younger demon is like freaking out. So
Yeah.
the older demon comes and says, you need to stop him.
Yeah.
He's about to try and look for more. And then he might have an encounter with God. So the younger demon makes him feel hungry. So he goes to Burger Place. But then the same question is still in his head.
Yeah.
So when he's at McDonald's, he's asking like, but where does food come from? Who created these animals? Did animals create themselves? Did they just come out of the universe? Then you go to another guy, and then the other guy goes to church. And inside church, the demon is making him feel offended. He sends people to talk to him and tell him he's not dressed well. He makes him feel offended about the sermon, like, oh, they're attacking you. They don't like people like you just think demons are here to give you hardships.
Yeah.
You don't think demons want to talk to your head.
Yeah. Definitely.
People just don't think demons talk to people's heads.
Yeah.
Where do you think where do you think Doja Cat came from?
Yeah. Bro, there's one. I don't even want to. I can't say the names.
Yeah.
So I tell this chick, like, if you even consider Doja Cat as an artist to you, like
Yeah.
you listen to their music, man, you can't get. By the time someone is literally wearing, I think there were red rubies from face.
Yeah.
Like, this person looks like a demon. Like, this, as a child, this is what I envisioned a demon would look like.
And they were spot on.
like, she's the definition of what evil, satanic, everything demonic should look like in our human eyes. That's what she is. And then her music. Like, I just went off her appearance, then you hear what song is trending and what line is in there is instantly demonic.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even hide it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, this is not real. How do you... this leads back, I think, to also fear of God.
Yeah.
Because the fear I have of God, like, can even keep me awake in the night. I'm like, this. Like,
Dude,
this guy watches me everywhere. I go.
I'm afraid of God, but my fear of God has gotten so much more in the last 4 months that it's not even funny. Like, I swear.
Yeah,
I don't, and I'm telling you right now, I don't fear anyone else on earth.
yeah.
Swear that I fear no man. There's absolutely, I have zero fear. I am terrified. It's a fear that is just unlike any other. Like, I mean, I can't do that because I won't get into heaven. God will smite me. God will judge me for this. Like, I don't fear people. I don't care. Like, if you judge me, go ahead. It's the most peer-to-peer judgment is the most useless thing because it has no equity.
Yeah. No impact.
It's just social. It's
Yeah.
purely social. Like, well, you're a terrible person. That's your personal opinion. Cool for you.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person to you. That's your loss, not my loss. You suffered.
Yeah.
But if God says it, even if Naxa wasn't a terrible person there, then God said you're a terrible person there. Trust me,
Yeah.
in seconds.
You're a terrible person. Yeah.
Like,
Way more.
that fear, and people don't have it because they haven't experienced the result of his fear, the wrath of said fear,
Yeah.
right? Like, they haven't experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Can I say experience or contemplated on the possibilities?
They are nowhere.
Because as a child, going to Sunday school, and they told us about hell, I'd be there at night and I'm like, hell, it's not going to be 1 year, 2 years, 3 months, forever.
Maybe
Like, you're just in there forever, eternity.
Yeah.
Like, it's done for you.
Yeah. Like,
That is the
nothing.
first thing
No
that would
hope.
catch my mind. Like, it is done for you. You have nowhere else to go. You can't then switch yourself up and say, I'm sorry. Nah, you had your chance. You had your shot.
There's no hope.
Join your crew.
Yeah.
We good up here.
No one is going to give you a drink of water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's people don't fear because I think we've lost that awareness, you know, because when you're less aware of number one, God's presence, you know, when you become less aware of His presence, His actual presence with you, then there's a way you tend to veer off. You find yourself, you know, in a place where there's not much. Like, it's easy for you to just go ahead and live your life the way you want, do everything you want, and then you find yourself in a place where you think there's no consequence.
Yeah.
Right? And then, because the more you know God, the more you get closer to Jesus. He gets to reveal to you and lets you know His goodness. The Bible says His goodness draws us to repentance. Right?
Yeah.
It comes down to motivation. What motivates you to do what you do? Is it fear, or is it the love for God? Is it the knowledge and understanding and the awareness of His presence? Because the more you get to understand and be aware of who He is, then there's a fear that comes within you. And then that's why the Bible says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Right?
Yeah.
So if you start to see people who don't fear God, there's a wisdom that they lack, right? There's a place of wisdom that they can't access, right? Even when they try. So they try to search through, you know, they try to find it through affirmations, through these meditations, the you know, the spiritualism, right? Which is all like completely useless, right? In the light of things, it's useless, right? But if we commit ourselves, right? You commit to get to know God. Paul says, I count everything else as dung, like as useless, so that I get to know why this God, why Jesus apprehended me, right? Because let's all admit, Paul wasn't the best. You talked about people being in a pit. Paul was the craft. He crafted his own pit.
Yeah, he dug himself
right?
into it.
I mean, he was persecuting the church.
Yeah.
He was persecuting Jesus himself, because that's what Jesus said. Why are you persecuting me, right? I don't know of any Christian or any person who has reached the point of persecuting Jesus himself, to the point that Jesus felt this was too much. Like, why are you persecuting me, right? And yet, God had a plan for this guy, right? Like, we tend to judge people as if they're the worst sinners. Yet, there are people, we've seen a clear example in Paul. This guy was literally the worst sinner. He still referred to himself as the worst sinner because he was killing Christians. Like, it doesn't get worse than that. You're killing Christians and you're proud of it, right? And this guy is received in the body of Christ. Jesus receives him and is like, I'm going to use you. Jesus had the plan. God had a plan for this guy that was greater than even, to the point that he wrote most of the New Testament, right? He brought in a new dimension of the gospel, which is the grace of God, right? And this is the person who was killing people, right? Now imagine all the people that when was it Barnabas was introducing him and he said, this is Saul, this is now Paul. He used to kill people, he used to kill Christians, but he's now born again, right? So we need to receive him. And people were like, no, no thank you, right? This guy was killing us, right? Imagine if I'm trying to show you how the extent of his sin or his wrongdoing, to the point that even Christians couldn't believe that he's now born again, that Jesus forgave him and he's now a child of God, right? If God could create room for such a person, right, and transform his life to a point that he had churches where he would testify, some churches loved him so much that they would even give him money, they would give him possessions, they would like lay all these things, they would support his ministry, right? If God could do that with someone like Saul and he changes him to Paul, then what can we do in this modern day and age that's beyond that, right?
You know, it's funny to me. Let me even give you in me as personally what I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
When I post our activities at church, or when someone asks me, what are you doing, what, and I'm like, I'm working at church. I like church. But then now they compare how just say my Instagram looks.
Yeah.
I am not your typical Christian boy in the 21st century.
Yeah. Posting scriptures.
Yeah, they expect me to be in a club. They expect me to be posting weed. You understand?
Yeah.
But then I tell them I've never even tasted none of that. I chose a different lifestyle for myself. So there's also a discipline aspect to this.
Yeah.
That all the temptation was there. People tried to introduce me to this stuff. The fear was there. I knew this was wrong.
Yeah.
And also respect for myself as a person. That I knew that because I don't do none of this, I am going to achieve better than you who's going to pass out in a club from 1 a.m. to like 6 in the morning. You don't know where you're going to sleep. Because you can't go back to your parents' house.
Yeah, when you're drunk.
When you're drunk. So you just end up... Some girls sadly end up in older men's homes because they couldn't go home after what they did to themselves. And these are the cases we are seeing now. A younger girl having a child with an 45-year-old man, or someone who's even old enough to be their father.
AIDS prevalence is great. It has increased greatly. Like, there's too much AIDS among the young people.
Yeah.
Teenagers, 70 teenagers every day contract HIV from old.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was a statistic in the newspaper. 70, on average, 70 teenagers. Not
Are we talking globally?
No, Uganda.
Uganda.
And it's worse in the West, in Mbarara.
That's 140 every 48 hours.
Yeah. Contract HIV.
And do you know what's funny? One girl told me that when they go to these clubs, some of them drink so much They end up sleeping with guys and they don't even remember it.
Man, I was just
You understand that? That the guy uses them when they're at the clubs
wow.
and they don't even remember that they did that with the guy. So that means you can even wake up tomorrow morning and you're pregnant and you can't even guess who the father is.
But don't you have like a point where you reach and you're like, hold on.
So I think this is a live for another day.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I think the culture has led it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you try to tell someone, hey, I don't think this is the best idea, I really don't think you should do that. The usual statement that comes out of it is one, the person asking the statement or giving the person advice is insecure for whatever reason,
Yeah.
which is not the case. Two, well, I can do what I want. I'm free. I'm
It's
independent.
my body.
This is the problem that I personally I always want to tell people is there are consequences. And usually consequences align with behavior and consequences are born out of choice.
Yeah.
People need to make a lot better choices with how they're leading their lives and living their lives. One, I get the idea of like, oh, I'm young, I'm going out, I am partying. It sounds all well and cool until it's just. I know people right now who are mothers and who are supposed to be fully functioning adults. I have friends who party. My thing is I don't like people enough, like on a social setting, to just be around them that long. I can't do it. That's one thing. The second thing is there is nothing that it does for you. Because at the end of the day, like all of this stuff, there is a lifespan to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't do this forever. And I know people who are just there, like, you have kids, you're still out and partying. Like, this is a recipe for disaster. This will either ruin you or ruin your family, one of the two.
Yeah.
And also, when you were talking about, you mentioned talking about like Paul, and as one of the people who, you know, he was someone who was in the pit. I want to throw this your way.
Yeah.
In the Bible, Samuel, they're talking about Saul killed thousands.
Yeah.
David killed tens
10,000.
of thousands. This takes us back to this. David is a man after God's own heart. And I always reference this entire thing, right?
Yeah.
I haven't referenced it like this. And I was waiting to try to do it, but I'm going to do it now. David is a man after God's own heart. So that's God's own heart?
Question. Good question.
Because, let's look at David. You want to find out what God's heart is? Let's look at David real quick. David killed people without remorse or hesitation. Even when he was doing something wrong, he killed them without remorse or hesitation. He didn't hesitate. He didn't think twice about it. Even when he was covering up his sin, he didn't think twice. He didn't blink. It was like, this is how I'm going to do it. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Didn't blink. Didn't second guess himself.
He's committed.
He went to fight people. He killed them. Like it wasn't like when you read about David fighting people, it wasn't like, oh, and there was this great battle and there was tiredness. It just talks about decimation, like the defeat of the other people. It doesn't talk about anything else. Two, this is a guy who was ripping up bears and lions when he was a kid. Like you play with Legos, he was playing with
The lions and bears.
Club.
full-on animals, grown.
Yeah.
This is the guy who didn't kill the person who wanted to kill him purely out of the fact that he felt humiliated for the guy. He's like, he felt sorry for Saul.
Yeah.
But he's also the same guy who, without blinking, massacred people, absolutely ravaged them. Like there was nothing left. So that's God. Also, to add, this is the same dude who would go under a tree, sit down and write poems about God, dance for Jesus,
Till his clothes
fell off.
Yeah.
Love God so much. Same dude. Same dude. Now, let's take that into this entire perspective. That's how God is. So God placed his heart in David. And David just went to town on people.
Yeah.
So, how much restraint does God issue on us? Because that's his heart.
Yeah.
It was war. David's greatest feat was done with a rock
Yeah.
And a sling.
and some. We have to be practical.
Yeah.
A rock and some sling with some kind of like some string and some kind of leather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, we don't even know what was he going to use the stick he came with? No, he was like, oh, cool, rock. Let's pick this up. It's 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, cool, let's go. Use one of them. So that's God. Like, if God really wanted, he could obliterate you and humiliate you while doing it.
Yeah.
There is a dude, I need to remember where I watched this thing. But basically he was talking about, like, he was naming his security company like Goliath, right? And then he changed it. And this is why. He goes like, well, you know, it's kind of humiliating. His answer was like, yeah, it's kind of humiliating.
The best.
Cool. He's like, yeah, man, I just read the Bible. So what'd you change it to? Spear. He's changed it. He was like, nah, man.
Yeah.
There's no way. There's no way. Because it was just the sheer history of it. That's God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God has mercy on you every day. Like, God goes to like the extreme just to be like, it's okay. I'm not going anymore and stay here. What if it was David? Like, what if it was like, what if God was like, oh, God of David, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah.
But I say this because with all the bad that David did, he went back and he went to God, and God opened his arms to him, opened his love to him, saved him, delivered him.
Yeah.
And God can do that for anyone.
Yeah.
But you know, in W, I've committed the wasn't. No, you have not.
Yeah. It's worse.
David technically was like, if David had kept going, he would be up there with 𝐥𝐤𝐬𝐬 Khan. If David had kept going, David was at it.
Yeah.
David was at it. David was just limited because he had to keep his land. And but if David was like, oh, I'm going to go on a conquest. Like, I don't like. Is this world flat? Or do we have some? Are there some more people out there?
Yeah.
If David had decided to do that, there would be nothing, man. We wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Because like we look back at every single thing. Like God can love them and deliver them. God, you haven't. Some people say, I've done so many bad things. Yeah, you haven't killed anybody yet. Like you haven't done anything that bad. Like God can always forgive you. Yeah, but they won't forgive me. So what? They're not God. Eternal life is the goal. Looking for forgiveness in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
Like eternal. Like I need to get to heaven. Okay, then eternal life is the goal. So if eternal life is the goal, who has to forgive you? Who has to love you? Who has to accept you? Who has to redeem you? God.
Yeah.
Not man. You're good to go. Right? That's the most important thing. The only person who needs to co-sign on that thing is God. No man.
Yeah.
Man will not get you through to heaven. But even man doesn't understand won't get you through to heaven. Like if someone stood there and said, Rob, you know, I think it's time for me to go. I shouldn't be doing this anymore. And then I turn around and go, well, you know, listen, like if you leave, you're out of God's will. What kind of, it doesn't matter if he's out of God's will. I'm not God.
Yeah.
People get offended when they realize that they actually don't have enough power over people to control them the way they want it.
Bothers them.
You know, like, and this is crazy. Everyone wants to see you. I need to remember where I heard this, but people want to see you succeed until you're doing better than them.
Oh, I don't know if it was True Geordie, but it was a podcast. I also heard it this week.
People. Everyone wants. I think it was Chris Williamson. I was talking to
oh.
Patrick Bet-David. I think so. He said everybody wants to see you succeed until you're doing better than them.
Yeah.
And they'll cheer for you on the way up because you remind you remind them of, you know, you inspire them of everything they could be. But when you get to the top, they'll tear you down because you remind them of all the things they have not done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow,
He said there's a really old song. No one's going to remember it. It was in high school. All right. So T.I. and Usher had a song, "My Life Your Entertainment."
My life, your entertainment.
Yeah, very old song.
You're watching while I'm in it.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
and
I'm not that old.
In that, at the end of what, like when Naxa just sang, at the end of that, it goes, and you're watching and you're waiting for me to lose it.
Yeah.
Like people watch people's lives and in the hopes that this guy will eventually fail.
Yeah.
Like this dude is not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And they feel like, and this is the thing, if you're a person who loves to see people lose, I'm sorry, but here's the truth: you're most likely a loser.
Misery needs company.
Not most likely, you are.
You are.
You are. a loser.
You are a person who is there's nothing going for you. Because the only reason why you'd want someone to lose is because you wouldn't want to be alone in your failure.
Yeah.
You'd want to be like, you know, I've also failed at that.
Yeah, come
so
down
he's
the
failed
phone.
at it too.
Need company.
Like it would be one of these things when you're in high school and you fail a test. Like you look for the people who failed the test.
Yeah.
Like you look, you went around, you're like, you failed too? Cool, bro.
Yeah.
I did it. I didn't want to be alone. Like, but in the reality of life, there is no way. If I see you succeed, I'm like, yo, dude, look at what he did. Like for me, I get happy when people succeed.
Yeah.
But I know people, there are things I don't even do. And they're like, I hope that fails. Like, I wasn't trying to do that. I wasn't even hoping that worked. I was testing something out.
Yeah.
Right? But that song, I remember, it didn't mean much then to me.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it wasn't like a big part of it. Was T.I.'s paper planes or paper clips or rubber band, something. That album. And I remember that song. I'm like, bro, this is real. This is how life is. People behave this way.
Yeah.
Guys are like this.
Yeah.
They're watching my life and then they just want me to just fail. And they don't care what it is. As long as you lose, it's cool. As long as like your life goes badly, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like people love it, and the problem is this. I don't know how people watch comic books.
I'm not so much of a comic
So,
book guy.
there's basically, I think the best example would be, there is Batman, right? So if you watch like The Dark Knight, the entire trilogy, basically there's this entire part, right, where in Batman 2, after he basically saves Dent, he saves the police commissioner's son from being killed by Two-Face. He basically tells them like, okay, dude, just blame me on it. I'm going to run. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to go just leave a way they need someone to hate.
Yeah.
This guy has saved the city on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
On multiple occasions. And you know what they do? Oh, he's evil. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the Batman.
switch.
Hand the Batman over. What? What?
Mad.
Absolutely insane. And that's life. Like, people love their heroes, and then they love to hate their heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Tiger Woods thing was the perfect example for me. Bro, I'm telling you, to
None
this
of
day,
his
I
dad?
will never forget. No, not the one of his dad. Tiger Woods. So when his life fell apart and all those scandals and stuff came out about him, like if you're to ask me, like Rob, like if you look at something, what inspires you? You know, Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods' story. Tiger Woods is a legend. Absolutely. Car crash, scandal, destroys his family, wrecks his life. Then Stephen A. Smith runs his mouth.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. In an interview, they're playing Tiger all of these. He's in an interview. He's like, so do you think you're going to come back? Do you think anything will ever be well for you? Do you think this is going to work out for you? Like, let me play you what people are saying about you. And he plays him the clip. All right. Stephen A. Smith is like, Tiger Woods done. We're never going to see Tiger Woods. He's not coming back. It's over for him. No, listen to me. He literally wrecks Tiger Woods. And Tiger Woods just looks at it. And then, like, 10 months later, wins. And wins. And keeps on winning. And keeps on winning. Gets in a car accident. Gets out of it, keeps winning.
Wow.
And it just... we're talking about like the price it costs to be somebody. Like if you wanted to be Tiger Woods and they told you this is the price you have to pay next, are you really going to?
Yeah. I think twice.
Like
consider.
and it goes back to like Stephen A. Smith. People love him. I don't care for him that much, but it was dumb to think what he was saying was going to bother or get to a man like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods' dad was the one doing that to him.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods' dad would tell him, you're not going to be enough. Like, he told him, I can stop this if you say one word. And he would go, while he was playing, he would talk nonsense to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verbally and mentally abuse the kid. Tiger Woods never said the word. The person he loved the most in the world was doing it to him. Hey, Stephen A. Smith is nobody.
Yeah.
The Shade Room is no one. E-News is nobody to him. Because he doesn't love them. They don't carry the weight.
Yeah.
They don't.
Right? So and I take this back this way. Well, I don't care about the rest of you because I love God. So if God didn't say it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to snap on your whim of some opinion. Stephen A. Smith is a commentator. He doesn't play sports at all. Right?
Yeah.
I love Joe Rogan. Why? Because Joe Rogan at least fight. We know that much. Like, if he went in a fight camp, probably get in the ring and whoop half the people.
Yeah.
But you look back, like Tiger didn't care.
Yeah.
The only time I saw a reaction out of Tiger Woods, the only time, right, was when they showed him a video of his son. And his son was behaving exactly like him. And
Yeah.
he looked at the video and he was like, then he gave the phone back and went back to being normal.
Yeah.
That's the only
It's so
time.
nonchalant.
The only time.
Wow.
He just said one sentence. He just said me and my son have the same happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The way he pots everything, movement, celebrations. The kid is a copy of his father.
No DNA test
Like,
needed.
Nah,
Yeah. No. That's his kid.
that's his kid. Like,
That's his kid.
like, leave alone looking like the guy. Like your movements, like
Yeah.
bodily movements, the way he stands, moving when he plays golf. He's a mini version of Tiger Woods. That's the
Wow.
kid.
Yeah. He's a complete copy of the guy
Yeah.
in every shape and form. And after realizing about life, I always tell people, like, one, just like, if God told you something, chase it. If you have a vision, chase it. If you have a dream, chase it. And there's something that always runs in my head. Like, if you're going to be great at something, you're going to be very misunderstood.
That's true.
You're going to be obsessed and you're going to be misunderstood. You'll be obsessed, you'll be misunderstood. You're going to be obsessed, you're going to be misunderstood. You're going to
Yeah.
be obsessed, you're going to be misunderstood. And the truth is, people around you will not take you seriously. They'll be like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know why you're doing you do things this way.
Yeah.
And also, to add to this, the greatest one of all, your family sometimes be like, oh no, I don't know about that. I don't think this is the best idea. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I pray that I die empty. So I'm be misunderstood. Be misunderstood. Like, it won't matter. And this is the thing. The reason, if people understood this one equation, you want to know why everyone has critics, including family members have critics? Because it hasn't worked yet.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
If it works, you've heard all the speeches. Oh, we believed in you.
Yeah.
Like, if people were not as nice as they were, they'd be like, nah, you didn't.
Yeah.
Nah, you didn't think this was gonna work.
Yeah.
I had this great idea. And this is where I realized, like, I need to just, like, my ideas aren't for everybody. I had this phenomenal idea, and I'm working on it now, so I can't say what the idea is. So basically, I present it to family members, people I know, and everybody's like, I don't know, it's a dumb idea. Apparently, my dad talked about the situation at some point. Did he talk about the situation in service? Because Cristiano will tell me he did. or
Yeah, I
something.
think he did. He did.
I had this
Though
idea.
He didn't specify exactly what it was,
Yes.
what the thing was,
Yeah.
but he hinted on it.
So I had this incredible idea. He said it was a bad idea. Everybody in the room said it was no, it's not going to work. It's a terrible idea. And like 9 months to a year later, a guy pops up with a prototype of the idea. The patent, I checked it, was just put, like, it was just up, like that month. He has one prototype, sells the prototype for $950 million. I showed them my
Can't be
idea. I
depressed.
showed them, like, the beginning, upwards of the prototype, every single thing, exact copy.
That right there is where depression starts.
I can tell you someone who's depressed right now. But that was, I think, the time I was like, okay, I'm going to hunker down and do this myself. And I'm just going to do it and do it
Yeah.
and do it and do it.
Yeah. Wow. I feel for you, bro.
So I always tell people, no matter what the idea is, no matter what it is, just go for it.
Yeah.
You think Jeff Bezos had the greatest people? This is what people told Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos was telling investors. There's a guy who talks about it. Jeff Bezos asked him, "Do you want to be an investor in Amazon?" He said, "Oh, what's Amazon?" Well, I'm going to get books, put them in my garage, and then I'm going to sell them on the internet.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "No." So he didn't invest the money. He's like, "Yeah, I should have just given him the 10,000." Because the 10,000 now would be hundreds of millions of dollars, billions now.
Billions, yeah.
Wow.
But he didn't. He was like, whatever. Forget this. I don't need that. It's not important to me. It's a simple idea.
Yeah.
I have a point on, should I say entrepreneurship? I read this in a book. I'm not going to mention written by who. No free promotion. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So
You have to pay
I
us.
was reading the guy's book, and he was basically giving advice on how people should get rich. I think I told you about it, and you wanted to borrow the book. So, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, if this guy is giving a blueprint of how people can get rich, so when everyone get rich, and then it will be irrelevant, or the levels will be set higher.
Yeah.
As I turned to the next page, they explained why not everyone can get where as rich as everyone. It's the mental aspect of it. He was like, our ambitions alone, or our goals we set for ourselves, are what get us where we should get.
Yeah.
So if my biggest ambitions are to park private jets in my own parking yard at home, I can achieve that because I can see it and I can believe it.
Yeah.
But for someone else, their biggest goal in life is to just own a car.
That's as far as
That's as far as their brain. So like you get into a state of comfortability that you won't achieve more. But because I will get to a point where I've achieved what your biggest goal is, I am not comfortable yet.
Wow.
I'm still going to keep pushing until where I see everything that I've dreamed of achieving. Now then that's where my mind starts to become comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's what separates the 1% from the rest of the world. Is that these guys are more driven. They achieve more by doing more and just their minds.
Yeah.
How far their mental aspect is going to take them, like, I see I am going to get here.
Plus, they zone out everyone else. They zone
Yeah.
out. Everyone
Like,
becomes noise.
you can't-
If you don't align with the vision,
Yeah, you can't convince me what I have seen and I dream to achieve is not going to work out until me myself I have seen it fail over and over and over again.
yeah.
Because the difference with some people is it will fail once and they quit. You get? For some people it will fail 100 times until they quit. Look at Elon Musk, for example.
Yeah.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Many people fail to invest
Yeah.
because they were seeing it kept
The
crashing.
rockets keep blowing up.
Yeah, they keep blowing up, they
crashing,
keep failing.
Ah, man.
He
These are huge losses, man.
Yeah.
You know?
There were huge losses, but he stayed driven. And understand, the higher you want to get in life, the bigger the problems. Because Denzel said this on a podcast. You can't pray for rain and not expect to deal with the mud.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he said that on Equalizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he repeated it on a podcast as well.
did?
Yeah, he repeated it.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's
So-
that's consistent.
The day I just marked that in my head that you will pray for everything as great as you would wish for in your life. You pray for a Lamborghini, but understand the brakes on a Lamborghini do not cost 500,000 like your normal brakes do.
Yeah.
You understand? That's the mud that comes with that rain.
Yeah. Wow.
So when Elon Musk now started SpaceX, the mud that happened was millions and millions of damage on
Billions,
rockets.
bro.
Billions,
Billions.
on rockets.
Yeah.
But now it's successful. It's going somewhere. NASA is panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy has done what they told him
Yeah.
was
A lot
impossible.
of people are panicking, even with Twitter, even with X.
Yeah.
Yeah. You saw his interview where he told everyone to just piss off.
That's the mind that I'm talking
Do
about.
you know what happened? Do you want to know what happened?
Yeah.
So basically, people are seeing the interview, seeing his reaction like he doesn't care. So
Yeah.
basically, what that stemmed from was pretty much he doesn't want to be controlled because and I'll tell you a funny story that actually happened in like in the actual like arena where he was doing the thing.
Yeah.
So basically, they were all like asking him, "So why aren't you going to like change some of the rules to allow the investors, because there was a lot of woke ideology and a lot of woke stuff that they wanted him to like put up, and basically like that Free Palestine stuff. All of that stuff was entwined in the entire like thing of them removing their advertising dollars.
Yeah.
So the reason why he just told them, guys, just get lost.
Yeah.
He used
In a
some other
polite
language
way.
in a polite way. Was that he didn't want them. He told them like, I'm not going to allow you to control me with advertising money.
Yeah.
Like, I refuse for you to for you to take your money.
Yeah.
And now you can decide what I say or do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, he said after he said like whatever, he was like, yeah, Bob.
Yeah.
You know, he
Bob
was talking-
Iger.
Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, was sitting right
Yeah.
there in the front,
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow. That's a very
sitting
bold
right there in the
move.
front.
Yeah.
And it goes back to this, like,
Yeah.
you would rather be free.
Mm-hmm.
You would rather be free than be a prisoner.
Yeah.
Because if he began doing that, then everyone would know he's for sale,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and they would come.
Yeah.
The reason why they're like, okay, and this is the truth about Disney. Disney is not consistent. Bob Iger gets
Yeah.
paid a salary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Iger does not have Elon Musk money.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
going to come back. Where else are they going to go? What else are you going to do? Disney, their streaming platform, it's failing.
Yeah.
Yeah. People actually started boycotting it because
It's crazy because, okay, I'm a big Marvel fan.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love Marvel. We loved Marvel because there were movies.
Yeah.
Now, by the time you're turning our favorite big screen characters into small screen characters that we should watch at home in a
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
and you're giving us stories that are far-fetched and stretched,
Yeah.
like it doesn't even relate to the comics
It don't
anymore.
make sense.
Yeah.
Like they don't make sense. And we're like, no. Disney is... I respect them for trying to invest into something big as Marvel. Big respect.
Yeah.
But you're stretching something you shouldn't have stretched.
Yeah.
And this is there's actually an old video that came out with the Marvel people and their diversity people talking about everything they're going to put in, like the agendas they were going to push. There was
Yeah.
a leaked Zoom conference,
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's how they got exposed. So
Yeah.
then basically Ron DeSantis removes Disney's autonomous like zoning for their entire area. So Disney was self-governing. Their entire area was self-governing.
Wow.
So he, by law, removes it from them.
Wow.
The timeshares and everything, like their actual share price begins to diminish and go down. People drop their subscriptions because they found
Yeah.
out they're doing. And guys, like, I don't want this around my kids.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No parent would want that
Bro.
crap.
They wanted to make... Can I say
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
They wanted to make an LGBT Captain America. And everyone was like Stan Lee's in his grave tossing and turning. Like, they
Yeah.
want to push so many stupid agendas
Yeah.
over characters we've loved for so many years.
Yeah.
Like, no. Don't.
And
too much.
the thing is, when you look at the genius that is Stan Lee, like the genius that is the man. Like, I went to Comic-Con. Like, I love comic books. I collect comic books.
Yeah.
To take something that people ask, like, oh, like, when you're young, what do you want to be? Well, I want to be brave like this superhero.
Yeah.
Like, these are good things for kids to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But then you take it and then you twist them.
Yeah. Twist them up.
Now, the issue, when I say I like, for example, places and like people that I love and what they're doing, like, you can't fault them. I love what the Daily Wire is doing with Ben Shapiro, having their own content, bringing in like-minded people like like Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, like bringing in those people
Yeah.
on one platform, creating their own movies, their own TV shows, their own children's content is great. Another thing that we can't fault, like, everyone has their issues with the Mormons, whatever. Yeah, but The Chosen.
Yeah.
Chosen was a great series,
Yeah.
right? But do you know how, when people talk about this, like, do you know how difficult it is to run a show or a movie? Like people don't understand that is billions and millions
big
and
money.
millions of dollars. They cost millions of dollars to make movies.
Yeah.
Millions. Like right now we're live. We're watching you live, right? You're not having to pay to see us.
Yeah.
But we had to pay so you could see us.
Yeah.
Like all this stuff costs something.
Yeah.
And when people are always talking about like, oh well, why don't you do this? Why don't you add this? I'm like, that would be great.
Yeah.
You want to support?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it takes us all the way back to, in order for there to be a good substitute for something, there has to be a good investment prior to the other thing.
Yeah.
Like the reason why
Yeah.
Elon Musk can stand up and tell those guys get lost
Yeah.
is because Elon Musk has money.
Yeah.
Do you think a small company can stand up and tell Disney you'll bounce? No, you don't have
You
enough money.
can't.
You're relying off
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
So you become a slave in the system. And usually what people don't understand, money is the thing that sets you apart. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It makes sure you're not a slave.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about, this is another thing that I think would be a great thing. When we're talking about good content for people, like I know people are sitting there like, oh, we want you to do another live here. We want you to do a live, a follow-up one next week to talk about different stuff or sending
Yeah.
topics. It goes back to this one point. None of it is cheap. No such thing as cheap content.
Yeah.
No such thing as free. Like if you want something good, there's a sales guy. He said, you're going to get 2 out of these 3 things, right? It can be fast,
Yeah.
good, or cheap.
Yeah.
You can only get 2.
Too. Yeah.
If it's fast and good,
It's not gonna
It's
be
not
cheap.
cheap.
it's not going to be cheap.
The trilemma.
If it's good and cheap, it's not going to be fast.
Yeah.
If it's fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. You can never get
All 3.
all 3.
Yeah. That's the trilemma.
But people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never do.
People never ever get that. And I think that it's something that people should understand when you're, because people these days like, oh, what are we gonna watch? All the movies are promoting one thing or whatever. Like
Yeah.
people, well, Robert, why don't you make some content? Do you know how expensive it is?
Right.
like people are watching us clear.
Yeah.
What are we in 1080? People watching us like you're shooting 4K or something. It's being shot in 4K, compressed it to 1080p. They don't even understand what I am saying right now,
Yeah.
and they're watching it clear on their phones, right?
Yeah.
This is not being live streamed by our faith. Our faith is not live streaming this entire thing. It's on the internet, so you can see it. So we could build your faith,
Yeah.
right? So none of this has ever been cheap to any stretch of the means. So it always takes some ability to like increase or keep doing more, which is why I always
Yeah.
like, hey, you want people to do more, well, invest.
Yeah.
And most likely do more.
Invest.
That's what it goes to. Like, but Elon Musk was just like, I refuse.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I think that was the greatest thing. And then the other thing he did, he came on wearing basically the dog tags of the
Yeah.
Jews, which said "Until everyone comes home." And I thought that was beautiful. I thought that was great. I think he came back from a trip in Israel, and he was like, they need to kill all of Hamas. He after being there, he realized that this thing is bad. And I talked to Doron Kedar. The episode, if you're wondering, I had a conversation with Doron Kedar, who is an Israeli IDF soldier at the front lines. He's a part of the elite paratrooper regiment. Great guy, amazing man, God-fearing man. He's on the front lines, and we're able to talk about everything that happened, everything that transpired. And what I do suggest is that you go and watch it. I really believe, go and watch it. Go hear from someone on the ground what was taking place on October 7th. And October 7th is the day I got married, so it was quite a
Eventful day.
an eventful day to say the least. But I honestly do believe that Elon Musk It's
Man, took so much bold. And he actually
he
said
was
it.
bold.
He said, because the interviewer asked him, so if these advertisers pull the money, don't you think it's going to collapse the company? It's going to collapse Twitter and X. And he was like, yeah, it will. It probably will. Right? So he knows there's consequence, but he's still standing on the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, let me say it like this. Majority of the youth today, you're all sellouts.
Yeah, highest bidder.
Yeah, to the highest bidder, you're all sellouts. Like, someone actually once tried to force me to start posting Free Palestine in the very early moments of when it was happening. And I told them, I don't really understand what is going on, and I can't support something I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yes, it's sad people are dying, but I don't understand. I can't support someone until I hear both sides of the story.
Yeah.
I leave that alone. And I tell them, you do understand there's bigger issues going on within your own continent. Like, first mind that you...
Congo.
Yeah, Congo. And there's nothing being posted. So I keep telling them...
Sudan, South Sudan, even Sudan itself.
You're mentally enslaved to post things and not care about your own continent.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad that Africans genuinely don't care about Africa.
Yeah, they'll put the Palestinian flag up, but when something is happening in Congo, no one is like...
I was nearly boycotted in school because I didn't post Pray for Paris. Because I told them I couldn't care less. We have bigger problems here at home, and I'm now caring about a Western world country.
Yeah, it's
like, I'm going to post it. What will they do for me?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I want to gain something from so-called helping and whatnot, but they don't care about you. If it was happening in your country...
Yeah. Life would move on as usual. Actually, they wouldn't even say anything about it in the news. Because there's a time when people died when they were fleeing from, was it Algeria, some African country?
Yeah.
Was it Morocco? Trying to get into, what's that country that borders with? Was it Portugal? Right? People died.
Morocco to Spain.
Yeah, people died, and no one. It was nowhere on the news. It was just on some few social media blogs, and it was like, and there was more than 400 people dead.
Yeah.
But it was how many people that died in the submarine?
Like 3 people died.
The submarine. No, that one was actually more of a meme. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the submarine was. Sorry for the people that died, but it was a funny scenario.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, but like this thing is being reported, and like, so you find people jumping on the trend.
Yeah.
I think because it's trendy to like support a certain cause, even when it does not relate to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I actually said this. The next time there's a big issue, like, I'm gonna start a GoFundMe, because I saw a few GoFundMes make more than $2 million.
Imagine.
For Palestine, and I do not think that money is going to Palestine.
It never goes there.
No,
it never does.
This is my honest opinion where I need to be. I am a huge advocate for one. You should be able to say what you think, do what you want, like freedom. I'm a huge advocate on freedom. Yeah. The problem is I'm also a huge advocate on facts, knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
The majority of the people who are talking around Free Palestine have no world view on global issues.
Yeah. None.
They basically, you see something, and this is very dangerous. If you see something on TikTok, then you're like, it's time for me to join the movement.
Yeah.
We must free the... hold on. We have Congo. None of these people stood up when Christians in Armenia were getting completely slaughtered. That entire genocide of itself.
Yeah.
No one stood up. We had people stand up for absolutely asinine reasons. I mean, some of the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
From BLM to
Free Britney Griner.
Yeah.
To nonsensical things. Absolute nonsense. Like, we have the world uproar, and Ugandans, for crying out loud. First of all, let Uganda, let me give a very strategic look at where Ugandans went wrong with the post Free Palestine garbage. You know why we're able to go to Somalia and help those people? You know who was willing to sell us small arms? Israel. You know who wasn't willing to sell us small arms? Pretty much everybody else.
Yeah.
We can't buy arms from them. So Israel was like, no, we got you. We'll sell you small arms.
Wow.
Cool. Great. Why? Because we are in multiple conflicts. Hey, how about you read about all the conflicts Uganda is in and stop thinking about Palestine? And I always tell people this. Even if you write Free Palestine, this is not changing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people need to understand. I've watched the videos of these evil, deranged full people throwing babies in ovens, raping children in front of their parents, then killing the parents, then killing the children.
Wow.
Beheading children, pouring the blood on their parents before they kill them. Complete massacring them. And I always tell people, when I was talking to Doron Kidar, I'm like, first of all, Israel is displaying a God-level amount of restraint.
Yeah.
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 That's a God, like people are talking about Netanyahu display. That is a God-level amount of restraint from Netanyahu.
Yeah.
A God-level amount. Because if you were to think about, they did that to your family, and you're in charge of one of the largest intelligence organizations in the world,
Yeah.
one of the strongest militaries in the world, and you're going in. Israel is dropping flyers.
Yeah.
You know how we hand out flyers, people come, right?
Yeah.
They are flying planes, dropping flyers. There is a
Yeah.
bomb. We are going to bomb this place at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Please leave. You're telling the terrorists when you're going to attack them,
Yeah.
just so you don't cause an incident, just so you don't hurt anyone innocent.
Yeah.
To add to that, there's a video of Palestinians trying to leave Gaza, and Hamas standing there with an AK and gunning them down. There are videos of these guys, of Israeli tanks driving through, and like, where are all these dead bodies coming from?
Yeah.
And Hamas was killing people who wanted to leave. People think Hamas is a great place. It's not. Hamas is not a beautiful organization. They're not freedom fighters.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate is an idiot. Completely misguided.
Yeah.
Off the rockers. They're not freedom fighters. You have a pure terrorist organization where the leaders are billionaires in Qatar, living in lavish hotels, eating lavish food, probably sitting there eating pork sausages. Those degenerates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dubai.
Right?
Yeah.
And now you go ahead and people sit there and go, well, you know, they're great people. No, they're all they're branded a terrorist organization. They're not branded a political movement. They're branded a terrorist organization.
And
They came to power and they killed everyone.
Opposition, yeah.
Wow.
Every opposition, and they've never had an election since. That's a loving people.
Can I ask though? It's a possibility that he was bought as well.
Who?
Tate.
No, I think it's more. He's making it a religious.
I think I'm going to just be honest. I think it's because of his change of religion.
Yeah.
It could be. as
Now
well.
this is the thing. People think all of us who support Israel, we want them to kill children. No, we
No.
don't.
No, we don't.
It's absolutely terrible. I don't want kids to die.
Yeah.
My entire ministry is for youth people. I don't want anybody hurt. However, I don't want terrorists. Terrorists are the people. If people forget like why Robert is very anti-terrorist, let me tell you why. I was anti-terrorist before the last 4 months, and I'm anti-terrorist even now. Very simple. They brought a bomb to our church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't support them.
Yeah.
I'll never support them. But people are so deluded. People have no idea what it's like. they're talking now. Will they have any idea what it's like to live under Sharia law?
Man. Someone saying Fifth Palestine, and they had LGBTQ flags.
Queers for Palestine, all that nonsense. Okay, go.
Yeah, go on ground.
They won't. Let me tell you why. They won't do it. Nobody is in there with the general belief that for people it's just social status and social bartering. That let me just talk about all of these things. Let me talk about how I love Palestine and how I'm a social activist. In the reality of things, if people, like, I've seen the footage. I remember talking to my dad, and I told him I don't have the heart to show it to you. I just told him I don't have the heart to show it to you. I don't have the heart to show you what happened. The videos that I got sent to me, I don't have the heart to show you. In the UN, they played the videos for the people in the UN to see. Every UN person was there, including the UN Secretary General, who was trying to justify what Hamas did.
Yeah.
They played the videos live on screen for them to see. In playing it live on screen, one of the craziest things that took place that I fully understand, the Israeli team and Israeli journalists had to be carried out of the room because they were shaking. Some of them, like, they had to call EMTs to, like, calm them down, put them on oxygen masks.
Wow.
Some of them couldn't breathe because let me tell you, like, people don't understand what Hamas did. They recorded this stuff on GoPros.
Yeah.
Like, people, but how are you? How do you? These are lies. There's no. They recorded it on GoPros. The footage is horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, when I was talking to Doron Keeter, like, Doron is an amazing guy, man. Like, when all of this was going on, he put his family in a bunker, threw on his kit, and then left his family to go and fight. He didn't know if, hey, maybe in an hour or so, the terrorists might knock down my door.
Yeah.
Like, the heart of Israel, the heart of all those people who had to go and fight. Like, we can't just overlook and forget. It's like people forgot October 7th. I can't forget October 7th because for me, this happened on the day I got married. I can't forget it.
Yeah.
That is a painful reality.
Yeah.
And people say, well, you know what Israel has done to... No. People don't read history. And let me put it this way. Liberals do not read history.
Yeah.
Liberals don't read history. If they read history, they would be like, oh, okay, I'm going to stop this.
Yeah.
Because you ask me, when was the state of Palestine established? Who was the leader? What was put in charge? Like, just basic question. They wouldn't be able to answer them.
Yeah.
But that like, I commend Elon for what he did, because the world needed to know that, you know what, the people were going to take a stand for this.
Yeah, that was so off script. Like, it was, and he did it while the girl was in the room. Like, that made it so.
Bob Iger is this is the thing. I don't think Bob Iger will ever recover.
Yeah. And it struck me as an emotional guy, because in his interview, because Bob Iger actually had an interview. He gave an interview in the very same conference. So he was as if to say that everything that's happening in Disney that's wrong, it's not his fault. He was saying
no. Do you know that? But do you know the truth?
Yeah.
Bob Iger was just brought back in to fix what was wrong with Disney.
Yeah.
Like, do you know that? Like, he wasn't the CEO. Disney's share price was going so bad, and he had retired.
Yeah.
And then we wake up one morning, Bob Iger is coming back. But
Wow.
It is what it is. Back to the point of liberals not even knowing history. We had skipped this point, but the Free Britney Griner thing. There's a movie about the guy they were exchanging Britney for.
Victor Bout.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's called the God of War
Yeah.
for an LGBTQ WNBA player.
Not that. That's not what bothered
Who
me.
smuggled
You want to
in
know what
drugs?
bothered me? Do you want to know what bothered me?
Uh-huh.
This is what bothered me. It bothered me that there was a U.S. Marine who was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a U.S. Marine who was there who had been there for years.
Yeah.
They don't trade him.
Mm-hmm.
They get Brittany Griner.
Yeah. Because imagine the
Who
guy
was
had-
caught smuggling drugs?
Drugs.
Literally with the
and the
drugs
Marine
in-
guy had gone for a wedding and he was arrested because they thought he was an American spy.
What?
He had just gone for a wedding.
Something's broken.
You know, to be honest, that whole Britney Griner situation showed me how much social media controls the American government.
Yeah.
That they made so much noise, free Britney Griner, that they exchanged someone who killed, what, nearly millions of your people,
Yeah.
for someone who doesn't make views.
Victor Bout. And I have my theories on this. So I understand that a lot of people who don't read, that's fine. Maybe after we mention some things here, people will go and educate themselves. So the Wagner Group was run by Putin's former chef,
Yeah.
Yevgeny Prigozhin. Prigozhin had a falling out with the Kremlin, had a falling out with Putin, decided he was going to go recapture
Yeah.
Moscow, take out eventually. He was told by his buddies, let it go. Seemingly dies in a plane crash. Putin began not to care about Yevgeny very much when Bout finally got back. Bout is most likely the most elusive perpetrator of war you could ever have. This guy was selling weapons to both sides. He was moving
Yeah.
weapons across the globe without issue.
Wow.
If a bullet was fired, Bout was making money.
Yeah.
It got to the point to where his guns were in every major conflict around the globe. To this day, his guns are
Yeah,
still in
they're
every major
still,
conflict.
What?
To this day. You know when Julius Malema is there shouting all over South Africa,
Yeah.
who never did leave Russia, they gave us the AK. No, Bout did that.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
This guy, he was so tactical with how he did things. Like, you've seen the movie.
I don't think a lot of people have seen
Yeah, so he
Lord
was
of War.
Yeah. He understood that Americans weren't moving back their used guns from their wars. Like, it was cheaper for them to buy new ones. So he was going and collecting all those guns, selling them to countries in Africa
Yeah.
where people are fighting each other for stones. He was making millions. Like, he was getting uncut diamonds, big ones, not even small ones, just selling second-hand guns
Second-hand
that
guns
Americans were too
that
lazy
he just
to pick.
picked up.
Yeah.
So you want to know how that sounds familiar? Afghanistan withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when he said General Milley's an idiot? Because they came to him and they said, well, it's just cheaper for us to leave them there.
Yeah. Than moving them back to the
Yeah.
States.
And Trump was like, are you mad? And that he said, that's the day I knew Milley was an idiot.
Yeah.
They didn't get everything back, which is absolutely
Yeah.
stupid. Like, they left it there.
And isn't that what the terrorists were using?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the
it-
guns that were in Afghanistan have somehow found their way to Palestine.
Yeah.
Have somehow found their way to Somalia.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Somehow.
That was funny. He was also selling to Americans.
Yeah.
So the guns the
The same-
Americans left by, he was also selling to the Americans.
Yeah. America.
Those are the funny monopolies of this world. That you literally create your own poison that will eventually kill you one day.
Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah, it comes back to bite you in the butt.
But not just that. I just believe, like, I'm a huge history buff. I love history. Loved it in high school. Loved it in college. I have a history minor in history. I love history. I just love reading about everything. I wish a lot of people did. I personally want people to stop listening to 16-year-olds about the climate and just like take advice from normal people. But that's again like. If you read the Bible enough, you leave reading the Bible and have common sense. You reason, and you'll be able to reason.
Yeah.
I think the number one thing people should do is read the Bible. The Bible is a great pinnacle for history.
Yeah.
It's great first-hand accounts written by people who knew the people, written by people who were there. Great wealth of knowledge for history, and it will allow people to advance in their information. The thing that worries me is that some people are just, oh, well, you know, Rob, that's not how I feel. I just feel like this is wrong. Yeah, that's not what history says. And the reason what worries me is that if you fail to understand your history, you're destined to repeat it.
Yeah.
And I feel like we are destined to repeat it. We have people who think socialism and communism can work. It can't.
There are people who want.
My father-in-law lived in communism. It didn't work. Didn't work. He lived in it, didn't work. You tell me, you want to know how I know that entire system didn't work? I've had ideas that my dad has tried and they didn't work. Right? They didn't work. You know what he told me? Robert, it's not going to work. I tried it. It didn't work. Now I knew the system. If you tried it, it didn't work, it's most likely not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I do it differently. Yeah. A better man has tried it.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. So who am I?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're good on the live. Hey, guys, if you are watching right now, please hit the subscribe button.
Yeah.
Hit the like button. Go and hit the like button on the video. If you can hit the like button, that would be great. Hit the subscribe button. That would be great. And also put up the notification so you know when we are doing a live like this. You see the bell? Hit the bell. Hit that so you know when we are doing a live so you can join us. We'd love to have you. We'd love to do this with you. We'd love to be a part of everything, when you guys are here with us.
Yeah.
When we're talking about stuff, remember, Riot is next week. 14th to the 16th. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's going to be absolutely amazing. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great time. So right now, hey, if you're watching right now, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll wait for you. I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
We're just waiting for you to hit the subscribe button. Just hit subscribe.
Subscribe.
Just hit it. Subscribe, follow us, hit a like button, hit a notification button. If you want to share this with everybody, let them know that this is where we are. We have a podcast here as well. If you want to join us, it's really, really good. It can get a little spicy at times.
Extra spicy.
Just a little spicy, but it's really, really good. And all we need from you, your best form of support is just to subscribe, like, hit the notification, that bell you see there. Ronald's going to drop the bell back up there. Hit the bell. There's a bell there. Click it. Click it so you can get notified when we're going live. When we're going live. If we go live, we usually give you about a 30-minute notice before we're going live. But hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And in the comment section, if you are watching, let me know that you subscribed. Let me know you've hit the notification button. And we would love that. And we would love to hear from you. So write it in the chat. But hey, thank you guys for watching. It's been fun doing this with you. And we will see you again tomorrow. So, peace. Oh, happy birthday, Bungle Kicks. Happy birthday, Eno. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Daniel, subscribe. Hit the like button, hit the notification button. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Hit the subscription button at the bottom. If you're watching on your phone, just scroll up, hit the subscription button. Not hard at all. Hit the notification button too. Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Nice.
Let us know you subscribe. Hey, Daniel. You want to make sure you are on this, but yeah, guys.
Subscribe. We're waiting on you to subscribe.
We're waiting on you guys. Subscribe, guys. We're waiting on you. Hi, Daniel. Ellie, subscribe. Don't be like that. Subscribe, man.
Ellie, hit the subscribe button.
Ellie, and like it too. We're watching you. Haven't seen your like come in.
It's fun.
But anyway, guys, we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. And it's been a pleasure having you guys. It's been super cool. But right now, if you want to do anything, you can head over to service. There's so many people coming on the live now.
Yeah.
Like, guys, what's up? What's up?
Just saying.
Hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, for coming late, hit the subscribe button.